last session on Google Sheets, and this session is going to be, of course, clearing some doubts. So I'll start by sharing my screen. Uh, just start by sharing my screen. Uh, yeah, so let's start by first looking at this guy here. So what usually needs to happen, again, I just noted there are some kind of updates in Google Sheets. So you need to, for these slices to work, you need to bring the pivot tables on the same page. Though you can like,
Sorry, are you recording? Umeweza kurecord?
yes, I've started now.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah, so you need to bring the pivot tables to the same page, but you can hide the pivot tables by blocking them with the charts. So that's when you'll be clicking on the filters, is when the filters will be able to pick. So for instance, let's say we have this pivot table here. So I'll just take this and maybe we just create a new sheet. Just create a new sheet here. And then let just be there. Then I'll paste here this pivot table. So this is a pivot table. When I want to have its visual, I can now have its visual. Let's say this is its visual. This is actually not sum of weight, but this is sum of weight by driver. Sum of weight. Let's close this. Sum of weight by driver. By driver. So then, if that is the case, then now I have to click anywhere on this pivot table and then now insert our slicer. So you add the slicer. So we can now have here, sorry. So we can have here our slicer. Now we need to choose a column name here. And maybe we want it to be filtering this by, let's say, something like waste type. So that we can easily know if let's say if it is glass and plastic, uh, oh sorry, driver. So I'm just picking the wrong guy. So let me, yeah, there we go. So waste type hapo imekuja yote. Let me see, think I am just seeing some changes here. So you can see this. You see now here we are talking about waste type. What does this mean? This means that this filter is filtering our data based on a particular waste type. So what we see here, we are seeing the weight that Alex carried, but this weight is either glass or plastic. If we just want one, like glass, we just select glass, we click OK. So the waste type here that has been selected, we have only selected one of four, which is glass, and the weight of glass is 248 for Alex, 667 for Carol, and 404 for James. So that's the waste type that has been selected there. If you increase, then these numbers will go up because you have selected more types of waste. And as these numbers go up, you will always see this chart also changing. So what usually needs to happen is that you need to have these pivot tables on the same sheet with these slicers for these slicers to be able to pick. However, you can even, you can even hide these colors. Like you can hide by even giving white color here so that you don't even see anything here on the words. And then this formatting also, you just give white color so that everything can disappear. And you can even also remove these lines if you don't want. Though the words are here, but you'll not be able to see them when the filtering will be happening. Either you do this or you hide by putting a cover chart there. So that now when you're doing your filtering, no one will know that there is a pivot table there. So if you don't want it, that's how you can create a dashboard by yourself, either by just hiding like that. Just clearing this. So you see your filter will be working, but no one will know that there is a pivot table behind here. However, if you are also working with, you can always even filter here, but you will not see the numbers here. So that was the trick, that the updates were there. So for our case on this dashboard, there was no any pivot table here. that was that was filtering this data. So if we even talk about completed, there's nothing that is changing here because there was no any pivot table here. So if you have a pivot table here, let's say we put here a pivot table and then now generate the charts, and then now generate the charts from those pivot tables that we have here, and then now insert the slicer the way we have done to this, then these charts are going to be interactive. So that was
So,
what was needed. Yes.
for example, like back to the dashboard,
Yeah.
can you put that those tables huko chini? You see how
Yes.
Abu
Yes.
scroll down?
You can even go down and put the pivot huku. Yes, the pivots unaweza ziweka huku. Yes.
Okay.
Alafu dashboard
Alafu,
zako zikuwe tu huku juu.
what else did I want to ask?
Yeah. Hiyo iko sawa.
So that means we will need 1, 2, 3, 4 pivots for this particular dashboard, right?
Yeah,
No,
yeah,
all.
you will need the pivots kule chini,
Mm-hmm.
alafu then your visual will be able to interact.
Okay.
So hizo pivot ndo zenye utatumia kugenerate these visuals. Unaona? Si tulikuwa tunagenerate the pivot table before we create the visual. So you'll need to have the pivots here. Then now when you click on a pivot, you click on the visual. You see, you insert a chart for that. You go to the next, insert a chart for that, and then now take that chart to the top. And then also insert slicers from that one of the pivots.
Okay.
Yeah, so hiyo ndio kitu ilihitajika hapa. And then
Just
now you are, yes.
sorry, just show me again how to put the slicers.
Oh,
How
the
for
slicers is just to go to where the data, go to the pivot table. Let's say this is the pivot table. You just go to the pivot table, then you just click on data, then add slicer. Just like that, it will ask you to choose which column do you want to be here. So you just select the column that you want. If it's by zone, just click on zone. Then now you'll be good to go. So you can now filter data based on zone. Maybe the performance of these drivers by zone. So you see zone. So here, if you want to see the wordings, you can always do that. But if you want also to see the wordings this side, you can also enable that in your labels, in your legend. You can enable that in your legend. So that can also be added on your legend. Legend here position is auto, is labeled. Yeah, just checking. Oh, that's the legend. I want to add the spy. We have that for pi, the chart, label. Then you can have the values and the labels on the same chart, so that you can now see the changes as they change. And then you can even remove this legend that is dragging this out. So you can just have none, and you can only have this on your visual. So when changes happen here, you can easily see the changes that are happening. For zone A, what is the distribution by the driver? For zone A, you see your visual is changing. So that's how that work.
okay.
Yeah. And then that was the first thing. And then the next thing, before we go to the add-ons, we want to look at some simple predictive.
And then the back to the
Yes.
dashboard, one small question.
So,
The slicers, eh?
mm,
Why did you change the color to yellow?
okay. So you just come to your slicer, then you click on edit this slicer. When you click on edit this slicer, you come to customize. On customize, you just change the color. Text color you can change here, and the paint color, the background color you can change here. This is the color now which you can change to yellow from this background color. So here is where you can change this color. Is that okay?
Yes. So now on that dashboard,
Yeah.
the way it's looking,
Mm.
is it something you can present to a client?
This one is not a complete dashboard, but this one, you can present this to a client.
With those slicers there?
Yes.
Oh.
This one will help the client it will make the client's time easier to filter things based on whatever choices she wants to make.
Sawa.
Sawa sawa. So this one is usually powerful. As per even the project that you'll be doing, you will start with the data, getting data, arranging your data from different sheets. Now at the end have a dashboard. So instead of someone now going to the data and start performing, instead of someone going to the data, start generating pivot tables or using the formulas, then someone just comes to the dashboard and get all that information from the dashboard
Mm,
by just filtering using the slicers.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So from there now, we go to the predictive analytics. So today we are using this data here for this predictive analytics. So what is predictive analytics? Predictive analytics is basically a way in which someone can be able to make future prediction from the current data or past data or historical data. So you can be able to predict, to forecast what is going to happen based on what you really have. Based on that, our today's learning will be about marketing. Let's say we have maybe you're working with your business, maybe you're running a small business and is on a budget, and you want to maybe look at the advertisement against sales. So you are trying to find out, if I spent this amount of dollars on advertisement, I got these sales for the first month. On the second month, I advertised this, I got this as the sales revenue. And on the third month, I did this. What will happen at the 100th month based on my historical data? Suppose I invest this. What am I going to get? That's what predictive analytics is about. And that's what we are going to look at in today's session. We will start with, yes?
No, I'm saying okay. Sawa.
Okay. Yeah, so we will start with the basics, the overview, like the one we have already covered, just trying to find out some patterns from our data, and we will use that to do a predictive analytics. Then from there, we will now introduce add-on. We will introduce add-on. We'll first do predictive analytics using charts here, and then from the charts we will get an equation which will help us now do a small formula on how to do predictive now once we have that. And then we'll now look at a function that does predictive analytics, and then now we'll look at an add-on that does predictive analytics. That will have taken us through really really nice stuff that we need to look at. Okay, now let's go. First, I have shared the data. Next is to create a visual representation of this data to see a pattern. In data, you need to first know which data are you dealing with. In data, I'll try to find it's called whiteboard. I had some discussion with my previous sessions on this. I think, is it this one or two? Let me see. This one or not. I'll just switch. Just see if it's this or maybe this another one. If I can be able to retrieve. Not really. This one was another one. Whiteboard. This one. So first, before diving deeper into data analysis, you must know different types of data. So different types of data, is not here. So the free versions they usually disappear after 24. Okay.
Oh, really?
Okay.
Miro? That's how
Yes.
Miro works?
Yeah, so but you need to save your work. Like for this was not saved. You can see this one is not yet, but you can save the dashboard, which will require you to give your name. But for this case, we had not saved our discussions. So we just had like the sketches, but we did not save it. Which if you save, it will not disappear. But if you don't save, it will disappear after 24 hours.
Oh, but it's Miro free.
Not really. It's free for of course to some extent, but again you'll always see pro with some other features. But definitely to start with is free.
Okay.
So I will let's try to bring some sticky notes.
And for you,
So,
what do you use Miro for? I'm just curious. Sorry.
but it's for me to have like a chalkboard for online classes.
Mm.
Yes.
Classroom doesn't provide that. Google
Yeah.
Classroom.
Yeah. Yeah.
Does it provide the same Google
Doesn't
Classroom?
doesn't provide the whiteboard.
Oh, okay.
Hmm.
Okay.
So for you to understand data analysis, you need to first understand data types, something we call data types. But before data types, we need to talk about the categories, data categories. So we'll have data type here. So let me just have this here ready for that. And then I need to bring data categories. Data branches. Let me just call them branches because if I call them categories, they will confuse. So to differentiate, so you have data branches and data types. So what are the branches? When you talk about data branches, data will be of two main categories or two main branches or two main groups. The first group, I will use freehand here to just sketch. So the first group of data is called qualitative data, and the second group of data is called quantitative data. So this is called qualitative data, and then this other guy will be called quantitative data. Quantitative data. Now, those are the main categories. And then from the branches now, we have now, of course, data type can be also here, branches or data types, no problem. Then now from there, when we talk about qualitative data, this is just qualities of something. Is blue, is red, is orange, the sky is what, is rainbow, is what. So just some qualities or even comments eh, about something. So the comments can be positive or negative, but before they are classified, they are just qualitative data. And then now, from the qualitative data, we have two main categories here. One, two. So one is called uncategorical data. Uncategorical data. And the second one is called categorical data. So I'll just copy this. I'll copy this, have it this other side. So this second one is called categorical data. And then from there, we will also break down the quantitative into two. So we will have the quantitative side, we will have also two. So quantitative side will also have two. So one is discrete data, and the second one is continuous data. Continuous data. So uncategorical data, this is actually things that go with sentinel analysis, things that go with just analyzing and just classifying if a comment is positive or negative. Generally, these ones are usually referred to as string or just normal text. Can be a paragraph, can be a sentence. So this is string, text. Text is just a paragraph or even just a word. A word, but has nothing to do with categorical meaning into it. So this can be even comments and so on. And then for this other side, categorical data is further classified. Categorical data is further classified into two. Categorical data is further classified into two. One is called nominal data, and the second is called ordinal data. So this theory is kind of important as it will help you know how you deal with different type of data. So this side we said, let me see, I think I left something somewhere. Yeah, we have this one. We said this. So string can be general term for this side. This string can even be a general string, not paragraph or words, but just string or text can be a general word for qualitative data because it doesn't really have numeric components. So this is text. And then this side, I can put this in brackets. So this one in bracket. So when you see something like string, that one is just a programming word, which just means text. So it should not confuse you in any way. So this side is numeric. This is called numeric. This side, you are told quantity, numeric. So numeric data can now further be classified into discrete and continuous, while the text data can further be classified into uncategorical, which will be really paragraphs, words, sentence, comments, or categorical data, which is nominal data or ordinal data. I want to differentiate the two. They might be new guys to maybe to you. So nominal data, this is data that has no order. No order. No order or rank. No order stroke rank. I will give examples. While this other side, there is order, order or rank. Order or rank. So that's the difference. So what do we mean? If you have a categorical data, let's say gender. Gender is a categorical data. Male or female. You are either male or female, or you prefer not to say. Anyway, so that is categorical. Then we have something like light intensity. It's categorical. Is either it's low, medium, high. Sound, you see, categorical, low, medium, high. Marital status, married, single, divorced. Those ones are categories. However, these categories can again have some rank, meaning rank. For example, level of education. Level of education has rank. Though it's categorical, but has rank. That's what we call ordinal data. So data that contains things with order or rank is called ordinal data. It's categorical but ordinal. But data that has no rank in it is called nominal data. So things like gender, your county or your location, those ones are just nominal data. There is no order into them. There's no weight. Like we can't say that you are male, you are better than female, a female person. But we can say for ordinal case, someone who is maybe in primary might be less advantaged from someone who is from secondary. So if there is that kind of weight in order, then it's an ordinal data. But if there is no weight in it, then it's a nominal data. That's what
Okay.
I wanted to clarify because this is usually important even for your future work with data. This one is
Mm.
paramount. And then for
And
discrete,
now examples of uncategorical.
this one is like, for example, you're asking people unstructured questions,
Mm-hmm.
questions that are open-ended. So you're just asking someone, what do you feel about today's weather? Without giving them options like maybe it's good, bad, or what. That one is
Mm.
uncategorical data because it's just open. It's just like comments. It's just paragraph. So
Mm.
someone
Okay.
just gives their own opinion about
Mm.
something. But if
Okay.
you structure it, and
Mm.
let's say you give something like, we have something we call Likert scale.
Mm-hmm.
Have you heard of Likert scale?
Mm-mm.
So Likert scale, these are questions that we usually use in most cases in categorical scenarios where you
Mm-hmm.
want to gain opinion from people, but
Mm-hmm.
by giving them restriction. So a Likert
Mm-hmm.
scale can be a 3 Likert scale, 5 Likert scale, or 7 Likert scale. Let me just search here Likert scale and you'll see. I know you know it. So Likert scale is where you usually meet questions that asks you how often, frequency,
Is
quality,
it
very poor.
likely, most likely, less likely,
Yes,
hizo?
yes, 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 yes. So hizo
Uh-huh.
maswali zote
Mm.
ziko kwa categorical data.
Mm-hmm.
Now hizo ndio zinasaidianga watu kuliko
Mm.
upatie watu open-ended questions. Analyzing
Mm.
open-ended questions is difficult compared to restricting people to make some choices. You can give them an option for making their comments why they choose the option, but it's good for you to restrict them so that you can easily analyze the data and then now go to the qualitative part. You can now easily gauge if the comment is positive or negative. You create
Mm.
categories for sentiment analysis. For sentiment analysis. So things to do with this, if there is any order, like for this case, if maybe never has low compared to always, then this type of data will be an ordinal type of data where there is weight in this. If you say someone said very poor, and gave one, if you want your one to have meaning, then you need to classify that data as an ordinal data.
Mm.
But if your one does not have any meaning, for example, when we are dealing with a software like SPSS,
Mm-hmm.
it's a powerful tool for data entry. So we usually have that discussion of nominal and ordinal.
Mm-hmm.
And this is what SPSS is. So I'll just open it. So that you can see. It's a powerful tool that is usually used in the social sciences. It's called statistical software for social sciences. However, it's a powerful tool that data analysts use for analyzing any kind of data. So you can analyze data from health, you can analyze data about businesses, you can analyze data about whichever scenarios. So as it opens, so this is usually powerful, and that's why we had to bring in this concept so that we can break down data further. So why is this important? We have discrete data. This is data that has whole numbers, no decimal points. This is data has no decimal point values. The data is basically whole number. While this other side, this data contains decimal values, contains decimal decimal values. Decimal values. Okay. So it's good to note that because
Could you, sorry, could you take a screenshot of this and post in our classroom? Would that fit?
yes, I'll do that. I'll do that. Data types. So I'll do that. So let me just save that. Oh, it's called mirror. Mirror. Mirror is now asking me a lot of questions I don't want. What is your team name?
Take the
Beyond
Nini,
data.
take a screenshot.
Okay. Uh, okay, I'll just take that. So let me just do this. Oh, there's a lot. Skip for
Take a
now.
screenshot.
Oh, skip. So let me see. I'll just take a screenshot of that. So I'll just take a screenshot. I think it's now saved, so I can take a screenshot of this and have it. Sorry. Uh, oh, sorry. That is not enough. So we can start from here. Yeah, there we go. Okay. So yes, so this is very important as you deal with the data analysis. So for our case, our data, if we talk about your data needs to be like numeric, then this is what we mean. Either data is in decimal whole number or data is not in decimal whole number. Like data is either not a decimal, but it's whole number. Of course, that's for discrete. So if we talk about numeric, then we are talking about this whole. If we talk about text or qualitative data, then we are talking about all these guys. So that's how we differentiate the two. And we can now go back to our session unless you have a question. So when we get back here, now we can see the type of data we have. So this is which type of data?
Quantitative.
It's quantitative.
Nominal. Wait, there's nominal and ordinal.
Not really in the quantitative side.
Oh, discrete and continuous.
Yeah.
So discrete, no decimal point, and continuous contains decimal. So back to the data.
Back to the data.
So the advertising, the spending on advertising is discrete.
Yeah, this is discrete. And then this one?
Remind me the name again. Ordinal. No. Remind me again. Discrete
Yes.
and continuous.
Yes.
Okay, yeah.
So
Good
this
to
one is
know.
continuous, this one is discrete. So for you to perform predictive analytics, then for what we wanted to perform, which we call it uh, correlation. Correlation. Correlation is just to check for association between two variables. Checking for association or checking for a relationship between two variables that are continuous and that are categorical. So we call it checking for a relationship between two variables that are numeric in general. Checking for a relationship for data for the variables that are numeric. By variables we mean the columns. Variables we mean the columns. So the columns that have data that is continuous or category or discrete. So that is like numeric data. So checking for relationship between numeric data. So now that one now leads us to our first part where we need to create a visual of this relationship. So what does relationship look like? Why is relationship important? Relationship is important so whereby we can be able to learn some trend. If you get a new term like this and you want also, that's why we say if you don't know something, you might also even ask your friend Gemini and see what is Gemini telling you about this. What's Gemini telling you about this? So briefly explain to me what correlation is. So just say briefly explain to me what is correlation. What is correlation in data analysis? Just say to be precise. So your Gemini will take some time just to understand your prompt, and then we'll come with the solid explanation of what is correlation. And this will help you a lot when you want to analyze your data. So we'll go step by step. It has given everything about correlation, which is powerful. So first, in data analysis, correlation is a statistical measure that expresses the extent to which two variables are linearly related, meaning they change together at a constant rate. Why do we need this? Because we want to do a prediction. So first we must know if the relationship between advertisement and sales is linear. So by linear it means they both change at the same time. As it has explained here, they change together at a constant rate. So it is a common tool for describing simple relationship without making a statement about a cause and an effect. So what does that mean? That means that correlation just tells you like the relationship is either a positive relationship or the relationship is a negative without telling you the influences of that relationship. Suppose we say that increase, for example, maybe we just use our eyes. We say we spent this for advertisement, but we got 264. We spent 448. We got 507. Then we just conclude and say, oh, when we increase advertisement spending, we increase also, the sales also increase, or the sales also increases. That's what we call correlation. But now you have a lot of data. How will you evaluate if really that pattern is happening like that for all these entries? You need correlation analysis to help you evaluate this. So we'll go back to Gemini, proceed a little bit. However, the correlation here doesn't tell you the effect, like what is causing this now to increase, that this is increasing. Let me give you an example. If we say, let me give you an example, let's say people are dying at the, these are a wrong example, but let's use it. Let's say people are dying at the beach. People are dying at the beach, and then we have increase in ice cream. Increase in ice cream sales versus the increased cases of death at the beach.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh. So can we say that increase in the ice cream sales increases the deaths at the beach?
Mm-mm.
We can't say that.
Mm-hmm.
So actually,
Yes.
that is what correlation is about. It's just looking at this is increasing, this is increasing, this is decreasing, this is decreasing, without telling you the causation. We have something we call causation, like the cause, without telling you the cause. So first, you need to look at your variables and know, is this really affecting this guy? First, is there a relationship? Again, now, the relationship is there anyway. This is increasing, this is increasing. But now, is there causation? We'll also search in Gemini what is causation. Causation is now the one causing the effect. Is it really the one causing the effect? After you saying that the relationship exists, is it really the one that is causing this effect to increase for sales? That's what now causation is about. So before we go to causation, let's go a little bit deeper. So think of it as a way to see if two things tend to move in the same or opposite direction. For instance, as the temperature outside gets hotter, do ice cream sales increase? Is that true?
Probably.
But that is just a correlation.
Mm-hmm.
So as temperature increases outside, as that means that outside gets hotter, the ice cream sales increase. That's just correlation. And even the other examples that I gave you, that was also just a correlation. However, it's not a causation. So let's go
Mm-hmm.
down now to the two types of correlation. So we have main two types of correlation, but we have the third type, which is no correlation, meaning that there is no association. So there are three main types of correlation. One is positive correlation. The second one is negative correlation. Let's explain these two together. So what's a positive correlation? This is when two variables move in the same direction. This is actually layman explanation. A positive correlation is where when one increases, one increases. When one decreases, one decreases. That is what positive correlation is. If one variable increases, the other variable also tends to increase. A good example is between height and weight. Taller people tend to be heavier. Anyway, I don't think that is the truth, but anyway, it might be. Then now we have negative correlation. This occurs when two variables move in opposite direction. If variable A increases, the variable B decreases, and vice versa. For instance, as the number of hours spent you studying for a test increases, the number of incorrect answers you get is likely to decrease. So this is just an example to help you relate. What's a negative correlation? When one increases, one decreases. So they are indirectly proportional. Indirectly proportional. Then now we have no correlation. What does no correlation means? This means that there is no apparent relationship between two variables. For example, there is likely no correlation between the amount of coffee someone drinks and their shoe size. So there is no any correlation. Like there is zero correlation between the two. So as you build the correlation between these things, also think of causation. Is it really the cause? Is it just increasing as this increases? And is it the only reason why this is increasing? Business intelligence comes there as well. So we proceed a little bit to the correlation coefficient. So how do we weigh these things? We weigh these things by looking at the coefficient, correlation coefficient. What does correlation coefficient mean? This is just a number that shows the strength of the relationship. That's what we call a correlation coefficient. So correlation coefficient usually ranges between -1 and +1. So it can either take a value in between 0. This up to -1. That will mean negative correlation, or 0.0 up to 1, which will mean a positive correlation.
Will you repeat that about the numbers?
Hapa, a correlation coefficient of +1 indicates a perfect positive correlation. However, any value that ranges between 0 and +1 is still a positive correlation. However, there again, we usually talk about the positive weak and the positive strong. So the positive weak is a value that is closer to 0 in the positive direction, meaning it's 0.00001 to up to 0.5. Then now, from 0.5 to 1, then that is treated as a strong positive relationship or strong positive correlation. And then now we go to the second part, which is a correlation coefficient of -1. Indicates a perfect negative correlation. Again, we have weak negative correlation and we have a strong negative correlation. The closer the value moves to -1, it becomes stronger. The relationship becomes stronger in that direction. So the value from -0.0000001 to -0.5 is a weak negative correlation, while a value from -0.5 going up to -1 is a strong negative correlation. So that is inaenda in that direction. So one inaenda the other side and the one goes to the other side. So let me just explain here a little bit about just what I am talking about with a sketch. Oh, not highlighter, but a pen. So we have this line here. We have 0 at this point. Close this. We have 0 at this point. We have -1 here. We have 1 here, +1. So that correlation we are talking about, to be positive, need to range between here and here. This is what we are calling positive correlation. While here to here is what we are calling negative correlation. Or let me just call it minus correlation. Negative correlation. That's V, negative correlation. But again, when now this value ranges between negative 0.5 and also when this one ranges to up to 0.5. These values in here are called weak. Though positive, but weak. Positive, but weak. Here, positive, strong. Strong.
So closer to 1.
Closer to 1. From 0.5, closer to 1. Positive, strong. Same case happens here. Weak and closer to -1, strong. So strong negative relationship here. Strong negative relationship. Right? So this value here that ranges between here to here is known as R value. It's called R value. So this is a statistical value, which was a symbol that was given after the inventor. So this is R value, or sometimes people will call it Pearson R value. Pearson was the person. So I don't know, R was part of his second name or what, but you'll usually get it as Pearson R value. Pearson R value or Pearson correlation value. So this is the value. This is now that discussion. Now we go back to our
Can
data.
you take a screenshot of that as well? Okay, for classroom.
Yes, okay. So let me first give a title at the top, the sticker correlation. Okay. Right. So that is it about correlation. And why is that important? It helps us identify the pattern that is existing here. So let's compute that value first before even we do the plotting. How do we compute that value? You just write equal to, then type core is a function in Excel. Let me show you first what is showing before we go to a lot of stories here. Let me correl. Oh, it was showing something, but now for me, I had already correl. So it is now bringing the function, though I did not want the function. I wanted a description. But I think for your case, it will still bring the description. Yeah, it's here. So Pearson, product, moment, correlation, coefficient. So in simple term, it's just correlation coefficient. So we call it Pearson R. So for you to compute the Pearson R value, so you to get the value that ranges in that range that we have seen there, you must use this function in Excel, in Excel or Google Sheet. So first, you just provide the range without the titles, the range of the data from here to down, put comma, And now select the second data range. Just from here to the bottom, close. Press enter, it returns the R value for you. So this is what we call the R value. So this value is showing, is ranging between,
wait,
yes,
it's 0.9.
yes,
So it's positive,
yes,
and it is a strong positive.
yes. This is a
Okay.
strong positive relationship. So this one means that when when we increase the advertisement spendings, our sales also increases. And this really means it's very strong. It's closer to one, very strong. So it means that at least we have hopes that when this increases, then we are going likely to increase our sales. Now, for us to have a visual representation of this, we will use a scatter plot. It's a type of a chart or scatter chart. So we just select our data, even with the titles now for the visual, just select our data up to here and go to click on the chart. It will always detect the best representation of that data. Here it's showing us a line chart. However, we are not interested in the line chart. We are interested in the scatter chart. So you need to just go down to the scatter chart, select the scatter chart, select the scatter chart, select the scatter chart. I'll just move this up, 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 up. Select the scatter chart. Okay.
So what do those dots represent?
So these dots represents these data points, pair of the data points.
Mm-hmm.
So it takes the 202 against 264, it plots. So it looks for 202. 202 is the advertisement spending. So it will look for 202 and then it plots against 264. So it will look for 264 somewhere in here, and then where they meet, it puts the dot. Looks for 448 against 507. So 448, it will come here, around 448 here, against 507. So it will go up to 507. It plots. So those are the data points, the pair of data points.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how you usually does the plotting. Now for all this data, for all this pair of data, it does that for it to come up with this kind of a chart. So this one
Mm-hmm.
actually gives an addition to this. It gives more confidence to this. When this line, let me explain that in this sketch. Scatter plot for correlation. Scatter for correlation. So these ones are not, these one are limited. I'll just create my own. I wanted the Cartesian plane, but I'll create my Cartesian plane here. So I'll just take this pen. Let me just use this for this. So I can create this is what we call Cartesian plane, like that region that we have. So when your plots, these dots, when those dots, let me choose this. When those dots, let me choose another color. So when those dots follow this pattern, this is a positive relationship. When those dots, I will also label these axes, these lines later. When those dots follow this pattern, that is a negative relationship. And then when those dots follow this pattern, straight, horizontal, no relationship. So I'll just write the labels on these charts. So this one symbolizes negative correlation. This one symbolizes positive.
Relation.
When one increases, one increases. That's why they are in straight positive. From the bottom of your left to the top of your right. When one increases, one decreases. That's why they're in an indirect proportion. One increases, one decreases. Now they will have to follow this order from the top of your left to the bottom of your right. While if there is no relationship between the variables, the two variables, then it will have a horizontal pattern, which is now we say no relationship, zero relationship. So this one indicates no relationship. So depending on the strength of your relationship, that is what will determine when this line will be straight diagonally or it will be slanted, like itakuja hivi, hii isonge hivi, depending on the strength, mpaka ifike mahali hii iko kule juu na hii iko chini, meaning that when one increases, one decreases, or because here this is an approach zero. So this one itaenda kama hakuna relationship mpaka hapo, hii itakuwa imefika hapa pia. Hiyo itamaanisha there is no relationship. So the more hizo vitu zinaenda in that direction, hapo itamaanisha kuna very strong relationship, but the more zikienda hivi, then itamaanisha relationship inaenda ikididimia, ikienda huku chini. Though hapa ndio maximum, because pia ikienda hivi pia inamaanisha relationship itaenda ikididimia, because hii itakuwa inaenda hivi. Yeah, but of course it cannot go in that direction because sasa hii haiwezi vuka ikaenda mpaka huku, but that's what we mean, either in whichever direction. Hata hii ikienda hivi, of course mpaka hii line itaenda hivi. Ni kama kijiti, mwingine akishika kijiti akipeleka huku, hii lazima itaenda huu upande wa opposite. So ikienda mpaka ikuje ikuwe straight kama hii imeenda this direction, then it's a negative relationship, negative correlation.
Alafu zero iko wapi? Zero si iko
Zero,
hapa
zero
kwa
iko hapa, zero iko hapa, zero relationship ni hapa penye,
alafu
yani
zero our value zero iko hapo.
our value zero kwa our scale. If we win, we want our scale measurement kwa our scale, then we can
Iko hapo.
still label here, we can still label here. So of course zero iko hapa, hapa ndio zero kabisa. So ukikuja huku ni negative, ukikuja huku ni positive, ukienda huku ni negative, ukienda juu ni positive. So zero iko hapa. So hizo scale zinaanzia hapa, kuna 1, unaweza weka hapo 20 depending on your scale. Hizo zinaenda juu ni positive, hizi hivi zenye zinaenda huku ni positive, but hizi zenye zinaenda huku, so huku ni positive, huku ni positive, but zenye zinaenda huku negative, zenye zinaenda huku chini negative. So depending on where your position is, for example kama uko unataka kuplot negative 200 against negative 264, then that will mean that on your scale your negative 202 will be is on x-axis. So tatafuta 202 negative itakuwa upande huu, alafu plot against negative 200 and something pia itakuwa this side, so meaning your dot itakuwa hapa. And so hivyo ndo venye utafanya for all those other values until
But
you see a particular pattern.
and the shape still applies whether inapanda hivyo ama inaenda hivi.
Yes, the shape still applies. Kama pattern itatoka kama ziko hivyo, sawa, zitamaanisha ziko kwa strong, ziko kwa strong positive. Yani bora ingine ilikuwa ina increase, ingine ina increase, zitakuwa positive. Kama ingine ina decrease, ingine ina decrease, zitakuwa positive bado. But zikichange shape, hata kama bado ziko huku zichange shape hivi, hiyo ni negative. Ingine inamaanisha ingine ina increase, ingine ina decrease. Yes.
Okay.
So that's what we call, oh, sorry. Okay. Now, This is what we call a scatter plot, but now we want to amend it further and further. So I'll edit the title, customize, chart axis and title. So this is a scatter plot, scatter chart of advertisement, advert versus sales. Okay, so I'll just make it bold, just center line it, give the text more black color. Yeah. And then now we have that. Now, if we want to see, we have something hidden in this line. We want to see a trend line. A trend. Is there a trend? So we come to the grid line and we should look for trends. Do we have trend anywhere? Vertical axis, horizontal axis, grid line, major axis, stepwise, minor. Let me just check the trend. Let me see where I will find the trend. I think it should be under grid line, but I can't see it there. So let me just see if I will see it somewhere. Or is it outside here under setup? Yeah, not really. It's not there. Let me just check where I have it.
Gemini is your friend.
Really? Let me see. Hmm. Okay. Okay, let me check on the series. The series. Yeah, we go. So here is where the trend line is under series. So if you want also data labels, so naona rule data label repair of the data labels, rule repair. So repair una make one dot, repair wingine una make another dot, repair wingine. So hiyo ndio the data label. So but we don't usually put that on a scatter plot. So the trend line gives us, you see here under trend line we have linear. So meaning that we want to see if there is a linear relationship. So that's what we have here, linear. Though you have other types also, depending on your dots patterns, zinaweza kosa kuwa ziko linear. So hiyo itakuwa iko nje ya correlation if they are not linear. It must be linear relationship. So ukipitisha hii trend line and they don't, most of the dots don't lie on the dot, haziko either on the left on the right but karibu karibu na hii line, then means that for example tukipitisha hii line tupate your dots zingine ziko huku zimeenda hivyo, curve zimeenda hivyo, then that one does not follow a linear relationship. It either follows exponential, polynomial na hizo zingine zikienda hivyo. But for relationship correlation we are discussing about a linear relationship. So this is very very important. Kishonga chini kidogo.
So what has it done? It has drawn a line.
Yes, a line of best fit. It's called a line of best fit. So kuna mahesabu zimejipiga hapa nyuma hii line kuna ruhesabu rumejicalculate. So hesabu rumejicalculate hapa nyuma by starting with getting the difference between these values. Mpaka ikuje ifanye the square root of hizo difference, ndio zinaitwa sasa errors. So inakuja inazi square then inafanya the square root. Ndio inapata hiyo line inapita hivyo. So kuna hesabu imejipitia hapa nyuma ndio hii line ikakuja. Sawa sawa. So down here we want to show the equation yenye inaonyesha, yenye tunaweza tumia kupredict an equation, yenye tunaweza tumia kupredict another spending. If we have another spending, what will be our sales? So hiyo tutasema we want to use
the dot, just a question on the blue.
Yes.
One dot represents where the two data points meet.
Yes. One dot represents where the two data points meet.
Okay, sawa.
Then tuna add hapa equation. Unaona hii use equation. So hii equation pia ni hesabu imejicalculate. Hii equation hii hesabu yenye imejicalculate ndio yenye imeleta hii trend line. So hii hesabu ndio yenye inasaidia us to be able now to predict. Ndio inatuletea prediction hapa. Let's say tuko na month 51. Sawa? month 51. We want to know if we spend this, what will be our sales. Sawa? So hii equation yenye unaona hapa ndio inakuja hapa. Inakuja kuplay role hapa. So tutasema equal to, tunachukua ile equation. Ile equation imejiandika 0 point. Hii equation.
Under sales.
Hii equation.
Umeka under sales. See advertising?
Yeah, under sales. What you want to predict. What you want to predict. Advertisement.
Okay.
So hapa, acha nikuintroduce kitu inaitwa independent and dependent variable. A dependent variable ni ile variable yenye inategemea ingine. Independent variable ni variable yenye haitegemei ingine. So in our case, what depends on what?
The sales depends on the advertising.
Sales depends on advertising. So what should you predict? What should be your interest?
Advertising.
Not really. You are interested in sales. You are interested to know what sales am I going to make when I use this money for advertisement.
If you're advertising, I think my reasoning is if you predict advertising, since they have a positive correlation with each other, it's automatic.
Yes, but now look at in this direction. The dependent and independent. Always predict. This is a rule. Always predict the dependent. Why? You can't know sales if you don't know the advertisement. This advertisement is the one that is going to bring the sales.
Yes. So you're predicting the dependent. Why?
Yes, the dependent is the one that is usually predicted. For example, let me give you an example. If you have, let's say, you want to know, maybe let's say cost and profit. If you spend 200 Kenya shillings, you get a revenue of 500. If you spend, I'm just giving an example. If you spend 300, you get a revenue of 700. What do you need to do? What do you need to do? Like, how will you know that you want to spend, let's say you want to spend 400 and you want to know what will be your revenue. So why should you tell us that you now have a revenue of 700? What will you divert and say that now you have a revenue of 700? You want to know what you will spend to get that revenue?
Oh, no. Nope.
Yes. So you first look it in that direction. Look it at the direction where one need another. And you must make a best choice here. One needs another. And what needs another most? Sales need advertisement most. So we predict the sales. With what? With the advertisement. So we use advertisement to predict sales. So tunajiuliza, when you use $500 to advertise, what will be our sales? This is a very common question kwa watu wa communication and marketing, sales and marketing. Mtu wa marketing anakuja anasema, we need a budget of $500. Watu wa sales wako like, how much are we going to make? You see? So that's what the how much is what you look at and not what you are going to spend. You already know you are asking yourself, when I spend this, what am I going to make in return? So that's what we call dependent. So this one depends on this one. So you predict what depends on the other. So this one will help you get this. Advertisement will help you get the sales. So we start here by writing an equation just below here so that you can be able to predict this sale. So we say we put an equal symbol, then we go to this our chart, and then now start writing this equation. So the first component here,
Equation ulitoa wapi? Ile uliweka kwa
ile niliweka kwa chart.
you checked? There's
Yes.
something you checked.
Iko hapa. Iko hapa kwa trend line. Pale kwa series. Customize series. Hapa kwa trend line. Haikukuwa. Hapa kwa trend line una check hii box ya trend line. Utaona hapa label imekuwa none. So nime switch from none to use equation. Ndio hii ikakuja hapa.
Okay.
So ukisema none itapotea hapo juu. So una switch hii to use equation.
Okay.
So then after now having this equation, hii equation ndio unaiandika pale chini. So the first component ya equation inajiita coefficient. Ni coefficient. I just want us first to predict before you even come back to this and talk about it. So let's first predict. So tunasema equal to, so tunaandika ile value 0.9 0.918 multiply by, umeona, multiply by. So ile x yenye unaona pale ndio inakuanga imesimamia independent variable. Hii x unaona hapa imesimamia independent variable. So I'll explain to you this equation. Nitakuandikia hiyo equation alafu ni break down further. So hiyo x inasimamia independent variable. So pale penye kuna x ndio penye una refer kwenye uta type cell yenye unataka kupredict. So una refer kwa hii cell yenye kwa advertisement huku. Then unaweka plus alafu unaweka the constant. Hii inaitwanga the intercept. So the constant is 92.1. Then you press enter. So what does this mean? Before you even go to the equation to explain it further, this means that when we spend nothing, we are going to make a sales of 92.1.
Oh, because I was going to ask you, why is you've referenced a cell that has no value?
Yes. When we spend nothing, we're going to get a sales of 92.1. Here you may learn from pattern. Pattern in the data. When we spend $200, what are we going to make for this 51 month? The 51st month, we're going to make $275.7. If we make 500, if we spend 500 on advertising, what are we going to make? We are going to make $551.1. So hivyo ni venye inaenda. So I want to explain this equation. This equation, I want to write it here in mirror. So I'll just create a new mirror.
Hey, leo tunafanya vitu kali.
So just see if I can stretch this a little bit. Oh. Touch yangu inachora vitu penye haifai. Ui. So space yangu imeisha. Create ingine. Okay. Ni save. Image save. Control save. Sorry. Close this. Okay, acha tuende hapa chini ya hii. Select. So, let me explain the equation, the other side. So the equation, the other side is y is equal to mx
Uongo.
plus c. Mx plus c.
Where
Y
did I
is
get that
equal
formula?
to mx plus c.
Remember high school, ama?
Yes. So hizo hesabu sasa ziko hapa, zinafanya mahesabu, zinafanya mambo. Haukusoma
So,
bure,
you know,
haukusoma bure.
na mbona tulikuwa tunaambiwa tulisoma hizo vitu bure?
Ai, haukusoma bure. So at least umetumia for once.
Hey, at least bwana.
So haukusoma bure. So hii kitu tunaiita imekuwa kubwa sana. So hii ndio tunaitanga independent variable. Oh, not independent, sorry, dependent variable. Dependent variable. Sababu hii inategemea nini? Zile majibu za kule kwengine, zile bati za kule kwengine ndio ndio ijitegemee. So hii inategemea zile zenye ziko huku ndio ijitegemee. So hiyo ni y. Alafu hii ni independent, hii x, hii ni x. Hii x ndio inajiita independent variable. So always you need to identify what is your dependent and what is your independent variable. Si ndio constant. Si ndio constant ambayo tunaitanga intercept huku kwa data. So hii ni constant stroke intercept. So penye intercept inamaanishanga penye vitu zinakutana. So kama hapa hujauza kitu chochote, kama hapa hujafanya kitu chochote, hii always itakuwa. So ukiweka hapa 0, that's what we mean, you have nothing here. Hii itakuwa yote imecancel, utabaki na y is equal to c. So itamaanisha if you don't do anything kwa hii, then you will always get y to be equal to c. That's why ulikuwa unaona ile 92.1.
Sasa hiyo ni nini huko?
So wacha nikuchoree. So wacha nikuchoree
Na m ama tutafika utakuja hapo?
m nakuja kuisema sasa hivi. So hii m ndio inakuanga imebeba hii m ndio inakuanga imebeba uzito wa x. Hii ndio inakuanga imebeba uzito wa x. Hii ndio inakuanga imebeba uzito wa x, inaitwa coefficient of x. Hii ulisoma lakini najua pia ulisahau kidogo labda. Hii inaitwa coefficient of x. So coefficient of x, hii ndio coefficient of x. Hii ndio inafanya x inakuwa na maana hii. Because remember is a multiplication between m and x. So kule kwetu our equation inakaa hivyo, but sasa tutaiweka the values zake. So y ndio kitu tunaita advertisement. So nita reduce to this size kidogo. I'll just reduce this size kidogo. So y ndio advertisement. Advert spending is equal to m ndio ile 0.918 I think, multiply by x. X ndio nini? X in our case ndio pole. Hata nimebadilisha vitu. Nimebadilisha vitu. Hii ni sales. Akili imechoka. Huko ni advertisement. Huko ni advertisement. Alafu sasa after hiyo multiplication ni plus constant ni ile 92.1. So cells ndio dependent variable, 0.918 ndio coefficient of x, kumaanisha hiyo ndio imebeba uzito wa x. Kama hii ikikuwa ndogo, of course kitu yote utamultiply nayo itakuwa ndogo.
Unaweza ifanya straight, unaweza nini hiyo text
Yes.
iache kukaa kama ni vitu mbili
Wewe.
hivyo. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Hey. Sawa.
So hapa ndio inafanya una reference kwa cell ya hii column, ili ukichange anything ita multiply tu na i-add ikupatie cells. That's why you must type hii function penye kuna cells, penye kuna your dependent variable.
Okay.
Sawa.
Screenshot mwalimu. Nasahau kuzipost pale. Video na images na references na tutorials.
Very powerful class.
Hata unaweza screenshot pale Gemini.
Yes.
Screenshot tu. We,
Okay.
hakuna mchezo.
So tumeshajua sasa tunaweza predict sales zetu based on any value ya advertisement. So tunaweza
Sasa
hata
swali.
predict mpaka miezi ingine ijayo, na hii tu itatusaidia
Mm.
kupredict.
Oh, hiyo formula hiyo usheka hapo.
Yeah. So utamake tu vitu constant, utamake tu, of course hii ndio utamake constant, hii
Nini?
not even hii constant. Actually there's nothing you make here constant. Utadrag tu chini month 52 huku uende tu hivyo ukienda, so utadrag tu hii hivi, so itakuwa ina pick from hapa. So unaona tu by default utakuwa na make 92 92 92. So wewe mwenyewe unabadilisha tu hapa. Je, hapa tukimake 400, what will be our sales? Je, hapa tukitumia 300, what will be our sales? So hivyo ndio inakusaidia kupredict. So unaweza predict even to 5 months, 10 months na hiyo. Then from there unaweza sasa compare hiyo na actual vitu zenye mlikuwa mnapata sasa. Kama sasa nyinyi watu wa sales, mlipata hiyo pesa ama mlienda hata zaidi. So hiyo unaandika hapa kando. Ukipata in update, unaweza update your model sasa tena. Mna update model yenu, hii function yenu ikuwe up to date. So mna update tena mnaiandika fresh kule mbele. Inawasaidia for prediction.
Tuna update nini? Si uko na hiyo formula ama
Tunamaanisha
tuna
una update the data. So unaona umemake, for example, tumemake kwa
Oh.
month 50 hii formula. So tukisema tukimake paka month 60 na tuone variation. For example, tutakuwa tuna compare sell tulimake month 51 na hii prediction. Iko juu ama iko chini? Kama iko juu, tutaangalia tena another month. Hivyo tukipata hizi namba zenye ziko hapa ziko either juu ama ziko chini, then itamaanisha we need to reproduce our model again. Like we will just reproduce the model again by giving it this data to learn again from it.
or
Mpaka
the
the new
more data, the
months.
more entries that you have. You
Yes.
now okay.
So hiyo ndio kuupdate your model. So hii ni model. Hii ndio inaitwa model sasa.
Nimekuwa data analyst hata mimi sasa leo. Sawa.
Yes.
Tupiga screenshot pale Gemini.
Sawa.
Nimejua tumefanya class mzito.
Sawa. So I'll just finish our session by now showing you how you can produce these things with an add-on. So add-on, you see Google Sheet is limited when you compare it to its interface with Excel. But now what makes it again powerful is the power of add-on. So things that Google Sheet doesn't have, like here on the interface, but you can get them from a marketplace.
Unanunua?
Hapana, unaweza pata zenye ziko free na zingine pia unaweza nunua kama uko na mado.
Sina.
Kama wewe. So we can now go to extensions. I want you to go to extensions. We want to bring in an add-on. So go to extensions.
Unajua hata sijafungua hiyo sheet.
Alternatively, let me stop sharing my screen. Share yours. It is your turn so that we can now wrap it up.
You've shared with me, eh?
Yes, let me stop sharing my screen. So you share yours and let's now have it. Yes, I can see your screen. So I want you to close the meet.google.com, and now I want you can copy this data to a new sheet. Just copy this data from month to sales revenue to up to 51 to up to 50.
250.
Yeah. So just copy, you can even delete later. Not there, hapo itafunika vitu. Just copy everything and then you'll delete after umepaste in a new sheet. You'll delete the additional rows. So just paste there, go down there, now delete from 51. 56, yeah, remove them. Right click, delete rows 51 to 56. So let's now go to extension. Let's go to add-ons. Go to get add-ons. Oh, I can see I already, on this sheet, I already implemented that. So that's why it is already there. But now search there for MX. I already implemented it to this sheet.
What did you?
So just search there, MX. Let me tell you what I implemented. Do you see, okay, ML, not MX, or not, I'm confusing you. Type XL minor, XL minor, XL. Ukianza tu kuandika XL utaona XL minor, analysis tool pack. That one. You click on it, then you click on install. Ndio hiyo ya kwanza. Ya kwanza hapa, XL minor install. So hiyo ndio inaitwa add-ons. So
How do I
utainstall.
know if it's free?
Yeah, this one is free.
How do you know if it's free or
If it's
pricey?
paid, you will see there.
Oh.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So you'll just continue. You'll of course have to give your permission. Then once now you allow it, you will have now installed it. You allow it to access your Google Sheet. Then you just click done. Then you close there. So you will always see it under extensions. So just click on extensions, and you will sit down there. Down there. No,
Iko
very
hapo.
down.
Wait.
Utaiona hapo. So just click on start. Just
So it
click
was
on
already
start.
there. Ulikuwa ushaeka?
Nilikuwa nishaeka kwa hii sheet. So
Kwa
if you
nini?
create your own sheet, kwa sababu I wanted us to use it for our analysis.
Oh, hiyo ndio umetumia kufanya hizo nini? Hiyo
Hapana,
formula.
I have not used it yet. Hapa kwa hii class. So I just use it for my own things.
Mm-hmm.
So we want to do the same. So unaona hapo mahali kumeandikwa correlation. Unaona hizo zote ni analysis unaweza fanya. But kuna mahali kumeandikwa correlation. Correlation. Una click hako unakafungua. Itakuuliza input range. Unaona? So una click to input range, kwa hiyo cell imejiandika input range. Alafu una select the data range. So una select from B1 mpaka chini. B1 mpaka C50. C50. Then after selecting the data like that, just check that the data has labels in the first row. So check ile box iko hapo on your kule kwa MX minor. Check your box. Alafu provide the output range. So click on nako ka box, alafu select mahali unataka kuona output yako. Either F2 ama anywhere. Not there. Ebu copy hiyo upaste kule juu. I think ilikuwa imepick vibaya. So copy hiyo upaste kule juu. Hiyo
Hii.
B2 to yeah. Ureplace pale kwa input range. Hiyo ndio input range yako. So paste there. Alafu hapa ndio unaweza weka F2 ili uone output
F2.
yako.
Oh, where I wanted to paste the results.
Output, yes.
Okay.
Then you click OK.
Can I click on it instead of writing?
You can. You can.
F2. Alafu.
Ndio hiyo. Then you click OK. So itakuletea ile value tulikuwa nayo ya correlation. Unakumbuka ile value tuliandika formula? Hiyo value ya 0.99 tukicompare kama inakaribia 1. So imekuletea hapa without using ile correlation. Is equal to correl. Unakumbuka sheet 1 tulitumia correl function. Sheet 1 tumefunika na hiyo chart. Si ndio hiyo? 0.99 F2 pia. Ndio hiyo. So instead of using hii function, unaweza tumia hiyo add-on. Inapea correlation the same kama hiyo ingine.
Sasa hii 0.9 tukafanya nini nayo?
Si tulisema tulikuwa tuna compare hiyo value kama iko between -1 and +1. Ukasema we mwenyewe is a positive, strong positive relationship.
So hiyo information sasa inanisaidia aje hapa?
So we are just replicating.
Hii tulifanya before the graph.
Tulifanya hiyo before the graph, tukasema kuna uhusiano mkubwa sana kati ya advertisement na sales. Hivyo tu kujua tu.
Before you do predictive analysis, you have to find the correlation
Relation.
first.
Yes. So tunarudia tu vitu tumefanya. but na
Hiyo
add on.
0.9 tulitumia wapi?
Hapana, silitusaidia kujua kama inakaribia 1. Wewe
So,
ukatuambia ni positive relationship.
so kama si positive ama kama haina relationship, you don't proceed to do this chart.
Of course, even your chart is just an emphasis, an emphasis.
Uh.
A chart is just an emphasis, ina emphasize.
So I'm asking, if we didn't get the 0.9, we got something like 0, ulisema between, you go closer to 1. So if we got 0.2, do we proceed with the predictive analysis?
You cannot proceed with the predictive analysis because the strength is very weak. Your model will not be a good model. Yes. Your model will not be a best fit, will not be a good model. Yes.
Nimesikia.
Sawa. Now, tunataka to produce hii equation na hii add-on. Hiyo equation yenye hiyo equation iko hapo kwa chart. Tunataka kurudia kwa sheet 2 na hiyo add-on. So utaenda pale kwa linear regression. Ile box ya linear regression open. Itakuuliza input y. Unaona? Inakuuliza input y range. Nakumbuka y range tumesema ni nini? Ni cells. So utaenda pale kwa column yako, uselect ile sales revenue. Sales revenue. Select mpaka chini. Haya. Rudi kule kwa your minor. Click on, haya, enda next, input x range. X range tumesema ndio the independent variable, ile advertisement. So pia utaselect yote mpaka chini. Click kwa hiyo cell yako ya input x. Click tu hapo. Unaona ime update, then check labels because umechukua na labels. Then unaweza tu uncheck hizo vitu za confidence level, uncheck hizo box hazina maana hapo.
Hii ni nini confidence level?
Hiyo confidence level ni ina measure how confidence sijui hata nitakwambia aje in simpler terms. How confident are you with your model? How confident you can just leave it ticked, alafu utaangalia the output. So from there I think it will be easier for you to relate. Then before you click OK, you need to provide the output range. Where do you want to see your output? So you just click where you want to see your output. Hapana, si hapo. Remember ina populate table kama hii. Ina populate table ingine ndefu kama hiyo yenye iko hapo. So huwezi weka pale chini. So utaweka hapo F7. Then click hapo ndani, itapick F7. Then tick hii box ya line fit plot. Line fit plot. So hii ndio italeta ile kama ile scatter plot. Hizi zingine ni other type of charts of which you should not bother about them now. Because as I said, the analysis is really in-depth things. So some things you might not bother with them now because they are advanced. So just click on OK once you are done. So imekuletea mahesabu.
Naona.
Imekuletea mahesabu na ile chart. So imekuletea tu story mingi, but now we had already explained hizi vitu. So first utaanza na ile ya juu output, kule penye imeanzia summary output ikasema regression. Multiple R ni ile tu repetition ya ile correlation value. Ikitoka hapo inakuja kwa vitu zingine zinaitwa R squared. So R squared hii ndio huwa ina measure tunaitanga the coefficient of variation. Ush. So for now usijisumbue, jua multiple R. R squared ni nzuri ya kujua, manake sasa hii ndio huwa inaonyesha ya kwamba, wacha nilete in layman, inamaanisha advertisement inaweza saidia mtu kujua sales by 98%, by 99. Sasa utakuwa na round off. Hii huwa inakonvertiwa into percentage. Hii 0.9875. Hiyo value huwa inakonvertiwa into percentage. So inakuambia hizi variables zenye umeweka hapa zenye ni independent variable zinasaidia kwa kiwango gani kujua sales. Remember, sales is not affected by advertisement only. Sales can be affected by other things. Hii value inakusaidia kujua hizi vitu umeweka hapa kupredict sales, zina predict sales to which extent. Kama hii value ni kidogo, less than 50%, unafaa uende utafute vitu zingine zenye zina affect sales, ulete hapa. Wewe mtu wa marketing ukuje utuambie si advertisement peke yake yenye ina affect our sales, tunafaa tufanye nini ingine, tunafaa tufanye nini ingine, ni nini ingine yenye tunafaa tufanye ndio to make sales vizuri. So the betterment of the model kufanya inakuwa determined na hii value inajiita R squared, because hii inamesha uzito, hii ingine inamesha tu uhusiano. Ile ya kwanza, ile ya R, inamesha uhusiano ya kwamba hii ki increase, hii ina increase, hii ki decrease, hii ina decrease. Though hii variable moja na hii ingine zina compare hivi, hii iko na ukubwa wa hii kiasi, ukikompare na hii inakuwa positive strong, positive negative, positive strong, positive or weak, and hivyo hivyo. But R squared na hiyo adjusted R squared ni the same tu, but sasa hizo zinasaidia tu mtu kujua kwamba ni kwa ukarimu gani, how strong how strong does hizi vitu zenye umeweka hapa, for example, to which extent does advertising affect sales. So advertisement ina affect sales 98% based on hii data yenye tumekuwa nayo leo. So hizi mahesabu zingine zisikupatie ukutaka kuzijua venye zimeenda, wewe bora unaweza pata. Yes,
tukitoa hii confidence level,
yes,
will that R square change?
yes, we'll remove the change. Change yenye itakuwa ni hii, unaona the last table hapa chini yenye iko na coefficients. So unaona hii coefficients, unaona hii coefficients, hii table ya chini, unaona hii table ya chini iko na coefficients. Hizi ndio values zenye tumekuwa nazo kule kwa ile model. Hizi values zenye unaona hapa za coefficient ndio tumekuwa kule kwa model. Umeona tukizungumzia intercept. Intercept ndio hiyo 91.2. Ilikuwa 92. I think it was 92 I think it was around 92 kule kwetu. And then kuna advertisement spending, ile coefficient yenye ilikuwa tumemultiply by x ndio hii 0.918, ambayo pia inaweza kuwa rounded off. So hizi ndio values zenye ziko important. Hizi vitu zingine ni wewe sasa, kama umeingia sasa kwa advanced analysis, ndio unaanza kuangalia sasa hizi standard error na what. Ukiuncheck hii box, ukiuncheck hii box ya confidence level, haitaleta hizi vitu ziko na percent 95% lower, upper percent lower, upper, hizo hazitakuwa sasa. Hizi vitu unaona lower percent 95%, hizo sasa hazitakuwa kwa your table.
Okay, sawa.
Yeah, so hiyo ndio tunaita predictive analysis. So always in your output you will always get options of interpretation. Kuna kitu ingine hapa inajiita ANOVA, iko hapa katikati ya hii table ingine. Hii ni option nyingine tu ya kukusaidia kuinterpret. However, hii iko advanced bado. So kama utafanya either SPSS ama JASP, then utazungumzia ANOVA. So hii iko advanced kidogo, hatuwezi anza kupiga story yake kwa hii level. But pia ni option tu ya kukusaidia kama hii ingine venye ingekusaidia. Yes, kumake decision. So hii ndio predictive analysis. Alafu sasa unaona hiyo add-on imekurahishia kazi, imekuletea vitu zako zote ziko pamoja, kama zile zenye tulikuwa nazo kwa Excel. Unakumbuka Excel nikionyesha data analysis toolpack ikifunguka pia ilikuwa na hizi. So hii ndio inasarahishia kazi za analysis. So ni click tu na drag and play. So ni hivyo tu, unless you have a question.
Sina we nikiuliza nitaogopa.
Usiogope.
But that was good to know.
Yes.
Very good to know.
Yeah.
It does not hurt.
Yes, ni vizuri kujua. So yeah, that is it for our session. Of course,
What
I
else?
will.
What else was there for saving?
For
Saving. Trying to save specific sheets. Remember?
yes, 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 yes. Like saving sheets has no problem, but
To
when you want
PDF.
to export, everything here is always saved in the cloud. But if you
Mhm.
want to export, you can go to file and export it as an Excel. You can either export, go to file, you can go down there to export or download. There's a download here. Yes, download, not even export, download. Then you can
Mhm.
download it to Excel, you can download it to ODS, you can download to PDF. These are other versions of how you can download. You can click
So
even PDF.
my concern is PDF.
Just click PDF.
Uh-huh.
So by PDF, it is telling you export current sheet. So on your right there, you can switch to if you want the entire workbook, if you want the current sheet, or do you want to go to the other sheet? You just go to the sheet that you want to export, or if you want to export the entire workbook, you just click on entire workbook, and then it will be able to have them as different rows.
Mm.
Yes. Then you just export.
So what if you remember the one, let me cancel. You see here, not
Yes.
here. Kuna ingine tumetumia saa hii.
Yes.
What if I want to export business information, summary, and dashboard?
So can you go to just the export?
So A
Download,
ilikuwa
download,
dashboard.
go to PDF. So here you can see you have the current sheet because now ilikuwa na vitu zingine because now Excel will try to also resize depending on what it can be able to do. You can as well, if you go to the workbook, that means you have workbook, but you have an option here for selection. Select all sheets. So you can choose the sheets that you want on your right here. After workbook, just under workbook, there is selection. So there is where you can check the sheets you want. Then you click
Oh,
on
so
apply.
unatoa moja, unatoa hii,
Mm,
then you apply.
yeah. So
Then
itabakisha hizo zingine peke yake.
mm,
Yes.
mm-hmm. Oh, okay,
Then you
okay.
just export.
Okay. Oh, sawa. Just check our WhatsApp. Simu nimeweka mbali ina charge.
So
Is there anything else there? I think we've done the slicers, we've done predictive, we've done
yes, for
exporting.
external data, of course, we have an option for import. So you can get data from Excel by just
Mm-hmm.
clicking on file and import. File, import. Then from import here is where now you just choose where your data is. Either you are uploading a file from your computer,
Mm-hmm.
or you are just having it in your drive, or yeah. So upload is the option for you if you want to get your data from your computer that is in Excel and you want it in Google Sheet. Here in the
Oh,
external data.
that's file import.
File
So if I
import.
want, so export, there's no export, it's just
Export is
download.
download. That is
Okay.
what export is.
Mostly PDF. Okay.
Mm.
Okay.
So that
Aya.
is
So
it because I think we have covered everything which we were to cover
yes, we
on
have.
this.
We absolutely have.
Yep. So for the project, let me
Mm-hmm.
just share my screen a little bit so that we can close this up. Uh, and just to give you an overview of what you are expected of, I'll just share with you this documentation. So this is a documentation that will help you know what we need at every stage. So we'll start with a scenario.
Mm-hmm.
The aim of this final project for the Google Sheet is to create a sales and inventory tracker for a small business.
Mm-hmm.
So you have been hired as a data analyst for this company,
Mm-hmm.
a small business that sells organic fruits and vegetables both online and in store. The owner wants a full functional Google Sheet tracker.
Wait,
Two,
sorry, you're still recording, right?
yes,
Okay. So I can, in case I need to remember anything. Uh-huh.
yes. The owner
Mm-hmm.
wants a full functional Google Sheets tracker. Two,
Mm-hmm.
one, monitor daily sales and inventory, track
Mm-hmm.
customer orders and payments, analyze business performance, visualize the trends in sales and stock levels, provide an interactive dashboard for decision making. So you have to like create inventories, different sheets, then from there you connect them to the dashboard. So what's the requirement? The first thing is to do data entry. So in data entry and structure, you need to create at least 3 connected sheets with one Google Sheet file. So the first sheet needs to be sales data, which should contain the date, product. These things you just generate the data yourself. So uta create
Eh.
tu data mwenyewe.
Sawa.
Yeah, so you create the
Payment
data.
status, like paid and not paid, ama?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
So sales data. Then inventory data. Of course, uta create to some product name, the opening stock, what is in stock, then the stock out, stock in, stock out, like to update the opening stock. So hapa kitu yenye na
Eh.
happen,
Eh.
you'll have an opening stock. Let's say umefungua biashara, your opening stock ya labda maembe ilikuwa kama 20 items, then ukakuja ukapurchase zingine, ukaweka order, supplier akaleta zingine kama 40. So opening stock inafaa increase of course, because kuna stock in, na kama umeuza hiyo inaitwa out, stock out. So nini umeuza maembe ngapi? Inventory. So hapa ni function rudogo rudogo rwa plus and
But
minus.
I'm not understanding opening stock and stock in. So opening stock is what you had, and stock
Kitu
in is like
umefungua nayo day next. Kitu umefungua nayo day next. Kitu umefungua nayo day next. Alafu
and
kitu
stock.
umefunga nayo day next. Alafu stock in ni kama umereceive new submission, new sales, new stock in that same day. So zitaongeza opening. Zitajiongeza hapa.
So I need to have one row for opening stock and another row for stock in.
Columns. One column for open stock, one column for stock in, one column for stock out. Yani vitu zenye unauza zinajiupdate under stock out.
I understand stock out because that's what you are selling out.
Yes.
And then closing stock looks like a subtraction between stock in and stock out.
Yes, so
No.
it's a subtraction between the ile opening. Of course, ile opening utakuwa una add na hii. Hata hii opening utakuwa una add, unaona hii stock in, utakuwa una add kwa opening stock. Ndio data yako ikuwe inaongezeka ikienda.
So closing stock, I'm just trying to understand the wording. So closing
Okay.
stock is a subtraction of
Stock out na hii opening stock, because opening stock utakuwa umeongeza stock in pia kwa hiyo opening stock.
I'm not understanding. Okay, I'm just not understanding why I have opening stock and stock in, because stock in means ilitoka from an external whatever.
Stock in, remember ukioperate biashara, ukioperate biashara, leo utafungua biashara na maembe 20.
Ama ni zile zilibaki from the previous day.
Alafu ukishafungua na maembe 20, siku nyingine unaweza kosa kuweka order ya maembe iletwe ingine. So hautakuwa na stock in. Stock out itamaanisha ni maembe zenye umeuza. Nimeuza maembe 10 leo. Closing stock itakuwa now the difference between hii maembe yenye umeuza, yenye ulikuwa nayo asubuhi, ama yenye ulikuwa nayo na hii yenye umeuza. Hiyo ndio itakuwa the closing stock yako. Kama uko na stock in,
do another row that has stock in, because that one we've assumed hakuna stock in. So
huwezi create another. Oh, now I want to do the another row. So on the next row unataka kustock in, so opening stock. So utakuwa na ile closing
10.
Uta-refer to the closing. Alafu uta add kama kuna any stock in yenye itakuja. Then uta press enter. So kumaanisha opening stock hapa ni 0. So ukiweka stock zingine hapa, let's say stock gani umeweka hapa leo, labda umeorder maembe 30. So unaona hiyo map date. Sawa. Then the stock out ukauza maembe 15. Sawa. The closing stock itakuwa tu the difference between the stock in and the stock, not the stock in but the opening stock na stock out. Wote wana imekurifaria hapa, so uta press to tab. Then tena utarefer opening stock ya the other day ni hii ya closing, plus kama utaongeza maembe ingine leo. Kama hutaongeza itabaki 0. Press enter. So hii itakuwa kama ni 0 hautaongeza, alafu stock out ni labda maembe 10. Then closing stock itakuwa tena the difference between hii na hii. Hivyo tu.
Okay.
Yes.
Sawa.
So hiyo ndio uta create, alafu uta create customer orders. So customer orders, hii ni kazi ya wiki mzima.
Tunaona.
So
Hata
unaweza create tu kama 5 submissions for every sheet. Si lazima zikuwe vitu mingi.
Okay.
Then customer order, customer name, product yenye ameorder, order date ni lini, payment date ni lini, amount yenye alilipa, alafu kama kulikuwa na balance yote yenye alibaki nayo kama kulipa yote. Then from there una apply where necessary. Easy. Uta apply easy where necessary, not that you must use this, but you can apply. So kama drop down utaweka pale penye kuna payment status, drop down. Haya, kama unataka kutrack vitu na date, kama unataka kuweka date ya now na today kwa tracker yako, ikuwe ikiupdate, labda pale kwa opening stock ya next day weke new date hivyo. Haya, kama kuna vitu zitataka ujoin kama concatenate function, kama si ati lazima utumie kila kitu. Haya, kama unataka kucheck kama kuna pending payment, kama kuna labda difference between hii cell na hii cell, kama hazimatch, let's say for example kama kuna balance, then kuna maanisha mtu ako na balance kwa labda kwa status, so unaweza tumia hizi ma if. So just like to be creative, that's why nimeiacha open for that you can be creative on your own. Then kama
hujanifunza hapa. Hujanifunza if error, hujanifunza text
if error achana nayo.
Text join ni nini tena?
Text join inawaka kama concatenate. So kama unajua concatenate, there's no need for you to do.
Concatenate kiwewe.
Ujui concatenate?
Uko nifunza.
Uko sure? 100%.
Sitawaisikia.
Whoa, lolo, yeah. So concatenate, that's why you need to research on that. So concatenate, what it does, it helps you join two texts together. For example, kama niko na Bwire, niko na full first name na niko na last name. Nimejua hiyo nimeandika vibaya. Niko na last name. So nataka kupata full name. So concatenate itanisaidia. Niko na first name ni Emmanuel. The last name ni Bwire. So nikitaka kupata hapa huyu mtu full name yake, nitatumia concatenate function. Inachukua two values. So concatenate hii ya chini. So nitachukua hii Emmanuel, put comma, kupata space naeka tu in double quotes, space bure, na put comma, alafu na refer to the last name. Hivyo ndo na join. So ni kama text join. So nakuwa able kupata full name. So nikitaka kupata for Joy, so nikiweka tu hapa Joy, alafu niweka hapa Muli, then napata Joy Muli the other side, sababu nimesha drag ile chini Joy Muli. Yeah, so na make my work easier ku join first name na last name kuliko kutype one by one.
Okay,
that's what we call.
I'm imagining this is also useful after forms, because forms mtu anakanga first name kando, second name kando.
It's very useful. That's why it's on your final project.
But sasa tujafanya forms. I think maybe you're going to show me this in forms, because we'll bring data from forms back, ama?
But we will not, we will not like again learn Google Sheets, but we will see how they link between Google Forms and Google Sheets. But that's why we have this. You see, sometimes you can't, let me tell you that you can't even cover the full Google Sheet in even 1 year, because you can't cover all the functions. You can't cover, you see. So through the assignments and projects, that's when you even get that there is another function that exists that can help you do this.
And Gemini, curiosity.
Curiosity. Ask Gemini, how can I do this? And let Gemini guide you. Then from there now, you'll go to data visualization, which we have done. Just visualize some things to see some trends. And then if you can now create an interactive dashboard, kuitumia ile pivot table, then you can now create an interactive dashboard. So it's an end-to-end from data entry to interactive dashboard. So you can even also ask Gemini to help you with the data. ili
Mm.
usave time, you can ask for the sales data ya hizi
Mm.
columns, so itakupatia
Mm.
some data, uta key in, then pia
Mm.
huku hivo, then from there you'll have your project, so you'll work on that for the rest of next week.
Sawa.
Any question?
If I have, I'll WhatsApp you.
Sawa.
Nita DM.
Sawa.
DM. But thank you.
Thank you so much, and
So, so
yes.
only thing I need is before